What's up, guys? Welcome back to the BlockHash Podcast, episode 255. Today, we have Dan Edlebeck, co-founder of the Sei Network. Dan, how you doing today?
Brandon, what's going on, man? Thanks for having me on. I'm good.
Good. It's a pleasure to have you. A bunch I want to talk to you about. Want to dive into the Sei Network and what you guys are doing there. Before we do, tell me a bit more about yourself and your background, why you're in Mumbai. Maybe a little bit as well about how you got into the crypto space.
Yeah, no, appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me on. Last time we were on, I was helping lead Sentinel, which is a decentralized VPN project built on Cosmos. But I've been in crypto, I guess, 5 full years now. It's kind of been a wild ride. I got involved in late 2016 when I was volunteering in Costa Rica in the Peace Corps. And then by middle of 2017, I was really working full time in crypto. And I initially launched Salt Lending's community and got people involved in being able to communicate and collaborate on kind of what was Salt Lending building out. And that kind of led to a lot of the DeFi protocols and things that we've seen. One of Salt Lending's competitors was called ETHLend at the time, which ended up becoming Aave. So went from Salt Lending to working with a few different projects in crypto. I led a PR and marketing agency, Digital Connects, and we had projects like Salt, like MetalPay, like Mind AI, several companies that we worked with on their PR marketing community, got involved in kind of understanding everything on the like story and narrative and meta side of crypto. And then I came on as a marketing manager for Block Party, which was a NFT ticketing protocol. So ticketing for events. They put on the first live music festival that was fully ticketed by NFT tickets. That was like 2018, 2019. And then I went and did my MBA in Boston, focused on entrepreneurship and technology. And then in 2020 and 2021, I led Sentinel, the centralized VPN protocol built on Cosmos. And I've been kind of deep in the Cosmos ecosystem for the past 3 years now. So yeah, it's been kind of a wild ride, and we've seen all the ups and downs. I've been through some cycles, and it's been exciting. But I'm really pumped about what we're building now at Sei.
Nice. Are you still with Sentinel, or did you completely move on to focus on Sei?
Yeah, I've completely moved on and fully focused on Sei, and really passionate about kind of the DeFi primitives and building out like a robust DeFi ecosystem. I think especially seeing kind of the crazy fallout of 3AC and how poorly managed that capital was, but also how opaque everything was. It's not just 3AC, but the centralized lending protocols like Celsius and BlockFi and Nexo, and there's a lot of kind of ambiguity around kind of how those companies operate. I really think DeFi is going to be continuing to be important as we have more transparency and more accountability in the space.
Yeah, DeFi is going to be massively important going into the near future. It seems to be the trend in the space lately. How do you imagine, Sei, fitting into that ecosystem and, helping, fix some issues in that space and take it to the next level?
Yeah, no, appreciate the question. So I'll give a kind of a high level of Sei. So Sei is a layer 1 blockchain, purpose built for DeFi primitives to build out a DeFi ecosystem. So it's an L1 blockchain built on the Cosmos SDK, part of the kind of Cosmos broader ecosystem, and it's connected to all the other Cosmos chains via the IBC, the Inter-Blockchain Communications Protocol. But this L1 blockchain is purpose built for an order book. So instead of what we kind of know in a lot of the dexes of crypto today, where they use automated market makers and, you and I, Brandon, can provide liquidity and then in an LP pool, and then it pulls from our liquidity to be able to match, swaps. In that AMM system, there's a lot of like inefficiencies with order execution. There's large issues with like slippage, and then there's also issues with front running and MEV, minor extractable value. And with order books, that's kind of what we've always known. All the traditional exchanges and equities and traditional trading platforms are using order books. Binance, FTX, Coinbase Pro, they're all using order books. So traditional exchanges use order books, and institutions need order books to be able to get clarity into the markets that they're trading in. It's been a best practice for over 40 years now, and we're bringing order books into DeFi. So that's really what we're building out at Sei, is an order book optimized blockchain for high performance, high throughput, low latency, and to be able to have, it's a permission chain, so other DeFi protocols can build on Sei, but only if they're approved by the broader Sei ecosystem and the token holders as they get voted in via on-chain governance.
How do they vote on bringing another chain in or another DeFi project in on top of Sei? How does that work?
Yeah. So let's just say a project wants to build on Sei, and they want to bring a borrowing and lending protocol or a money market protocol on top of Sei, and they're going to use Sei's order book as part of its infrastructure. Then that team that would probably talk to the Sei team. We kind of understand kind of what their ideas are. If, vet them, make sure it's a really solid project and that's an actually needed product. And then that team would ping a validator, or if they have their own tokens, they could just put an on-chain proposal onto the Sei Network blockchain. And then, like any on-chain governance proposal with any like Cosmos-based chain, the broader community would vote on the benefits and pros and cons of having that protocol be a part of a protocol building on Sei, and then they would go live from there.
Nice. Have you guys integrated with any existing DeFi projects, or have any reached out and decided to try and build on Sei yet?
Yeah. So where we are in our lifespan, we're on, we haven't started our incentivized testnet yet, but we are live on testnet, on like a sandbox environment testnet. And today's the 29th of June. I think this might go out in a few days, maybe by the end of the week. Mm-hmm. I think in the first week of July, we'll kick off our incentivized testnet, the Sei Nami testnet. And then we're looking, as that'll probably be a couple months of really like extremely stress testing the chain, pushing it to its limits, seeing the order execution on chain, all of the validators operating on chain, making sure that the chain is highly performant and highly functional. And then probably in September is when we're looking to go on mainnet. But we have, already been having quite a few conversations, both with Terra projects that we're building out DeFi protocols within Terra. Mm-hmm. We've had advanced conversations with them. And then also Solana. Solana is becoming more of a chain optimized for like NFTs, and NFTs have kind of really taken off in Solana, but the DeFi ecosystem has kind of been neglected, quite honestly. And so we're actually talking to a lot of teams in Solana, and some of them are actually looking to build DeFi protocols within Sei, and a couple are confirmed, but not ready to be announced quite yet.
Yeah, I think definitely with Solana, NFTs have taken, I think, a foothold and front and center for a little while now, and are pretty mm-hmm. hot as an alternative to, doing NFTs on Ethereum. But yeah, DeFi kind of gets overlooked as a very complex thing to put together. Are there any in particular use cases with DeFi that some of these projects or developers are wanting to try out on the test net for Sei? Have you guys had those conversations?
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of why you were seeing, quite honestly, like an exodus from like DeFi on Solana, is that mm-hmm. it's not feasible. Like Sei is very similar to kind of what you could think of in the Solana ecosystem, like Serum. So Serum is also a L1 blockchain optimized, or an L1 protocol optimized for an order book. And you can build DeFi primitives and DeFi protocols on top of Serum using their order book. But it's not its own L1 chain, and it can't optimize for throughput and for block space because it's all using, the Solana base chain. And with all of the congestion that's happening and the outages and downtime on Solana, it really makes it completely infeasible for institutional market makers and people to come in and provide liquidity and rely on an order book when the chain itself is going down, or when there's congestion on chain. And that's also why, we've seen recently, DYDX also operates with an on-chain order book. They just left from Ethereum and Starkware to move on to their own native Cosmos-based L1 chain. I think that there's going to be more of that kind of transition as people realize the potential of having horizontal scalability and being able to control all the parameters for your own chain. So that's exactly kind of what our thought process was. And Sei really kicked off at the very beginning of 2022 in January. Jay and Jeff, a couple other co-founders, were actually building in the Terra ecosystem, and they were thinking about building an on-chain order book, and it wasn't feasible on Terra. With 10 to 15 cent transaction costs at the time, when, this is way before kind of the collapse of Terra and way before there were any kind of issues with Luna or UST. Mm-hmm. Just the cost of transactions made it infeasible for institutional market makers that are going to come in and be constantly updating an order book and moving around orders and optimizing for, a fair and equal market. So with Sei, we've optimized the blockchain on several fronts. One thing we did is we've really optimized for latency. So a typical block size in like a Cosmos SDK based chain is around 6 to 7 seconds per block. But right now on testnet, we're seeing a little over 1.3 seconds per block, which is honestly the fastest blockchain L1 per block, other than Solana itself in the greater kind of like crypto ecosystem. So we're really optimizing for low latency, and then for throughput, we're also optimizing there. We're seeing like 13 to 1500 transactions per second, which is faster than most Cosmos-based chains. And the way that I think this is going to really be successful for DeFi protocols is because you're going to be able to have lots of orders go through per block. And also, we're not only optimizing for performance, but we're also optimizing for better trade execution, right? And price execution. And so what we have is auctioned orders, batched auctioned orders, so that every block, all of the orders that happen per block are executed at the same price. So Brandon, you might have had an order that was going through at $1.55, and I had an order that was going through at $1.60, but both of our orders went through in the same 1.3 second block. We would all get like the $1.55 price point. So with shorter block times and for able to batch orders per block, we're getting better trade execution, quicker finality, and just higher performance chain that you can actually build DeFi primitives on. So that's why I think the opportunity is massive within the Cosmos ecosystem for DeFi, because of the customization at the layer one.
Yeah, that's really good to hear. That's really good throughput too. That's crazy. Have you guys had any interest from projects within the Cosmos ecosystem? Because I know you're pretty involved there as well.
Yeah. So we're gonna make it composable as well. So there's opportunities for like AMMs that already exist to like leverage the Sei underlying order book to be able to have their AMM, like Osmosis, for example, be able to have limit orders. And that way people could dollar cost average into prices or positions that they want. They could actually set limit orders. So there's opportunities for collaboration and for like cross functionality with other DeFi protocols. So that's definitely the way we're looking at it. And then there is a project that's building right now on top of Sei. That's a perpetuals protocol. So perpetual contracts for leverage trading. So that's getting incubated now, and it's actually, they just made the announcement that it's going to be coming out. So really excited about that. That is actually going to go live with our mainnet launch at the end of September. So it's not going to just be an L1 that protocols can build on, but there will be like an end user consumer application at launch as well.
Got it. Tell me a bit more how it's beneficial for Terra. They've had a number of issues in the past couple months. Are they primarily looking to do something solely around DeFi, or do they want to apply this in other ways? I know they're trying to get a lot more support back to the ecosystem, to their chain, because of the things that have happened with Lunaterra and their stable coin and whatnot. Maybe they got a little ahead of themselves, but what are they looking to do? with Sei?
Yeah, so projects that were like a part of the Terra ecosystem, like from my perspective, and this might be controversial, but like I think Terra is done. Like there's Terra 2 and there's some people trying to build in there, but you know, the design mechanism was unsustainable and the way that the treasury was managed wasn't feasible. And unfortunately UST blew up and then Luna was printed infinitely to be able to try to like maintain the peg. And then for Do Kwon to kind of come out and say, you know, instead of mea culpa, and this was a big mistake, and like I'm sorry for all the like like damage that I was done. He said, "Oh, we're gonna run it back, or we're gonna like start Terra 2." I thought that was crazy, and I think a lot of other teams have thought that was crazy too. So a lot of the DeFi protocols that we're building on Terra have left, and like Mars protocol, for example, is now building on Osmosis, and that was announced. And there are a lot of other kind of like interesting projects that are kind of looking for how they're going to like bring their devs and where they're going to position themselves for a future home. And Terra was built on the Cosmos SDK and was connected via IBC. So building CosmWasm smart contracts was something that was already native within the Terra ecosystem. So a lot of that developer mindshare and like builders that already have protocols or that want to continue to build are looking for where their next homes are. And that's where we're having conversations about kind of providing an easy onboarding experience for them to on-ramp and build high quality DeFi protocols, but you know, in a sustainable manner. But yeah, as far as like the Terra 2 ecosystem and what's going on there, I'm not paying too much attention. I think that, yeah, that's kind of mostly done.
Yeah, I think it's an quite unstated fact that in this space, when you have to reset a project or rebrand a project, you know, number 2 of something, number 3 of something, we've seen it happen a billion times with Bitcoin, Bitcoin Gold, Bitcoin SV, Bitcoin this, Bitcoin that. They fail so often in this space. Very rarely do they succeed. I'm kind of on the same page, nothing against them, but I think they lost a lot of trust from people that were holding it. People got crushed. Yeah, I don't think that.
To be honest, I wasn't a big fan of kind of how Do Kwon handled things after the blow up. I would have expected, quite frankly, more humility from him and like trying to figure out how to like do right by all the holders. But the way that they kind of like quickly spun up Terra 2 and Terraform Labs, TFL was heavily involved in that whole process. Just also kind of gave me the sign that like they were not really fully committed to doing what was right by a community and by their broader developer community as well as like holder community.
Yeah, I think they tried to do like a large token burn as well. Honestly, the underlying problem for me was the algorithm using an algorithmically traded stable coin seems very risky to me, especially when you look at what they're holding. And primarily they're holding a lot of crypto, a lot of Bitcoin. They weren't in hard cash or cash equivalents. I mean, you can say whatever you want about Tether, but I mean, at least they have a solid plan of, you know, how they get set up the backing for it. Algorithmically, I think it's just too dangerous with how much this space fluctuates. And I'd like to just see them admit that that is a fault and that it needs to be improved on before doing it again. But I think they've, you know, like you said, have kind of like sidestepped it and tried to just move on. And I don't think that looks good credibility wise.
Yeah, I completely agree. But I think on the flip side, it is only bringing a lot more credibility to the Cosmos ecosystem. Like seeing DYDX decide that this is the right technology stack and the right design architecture to actually scale DYDX to the next level and to bring it to millions of users and to kind of like have Antonio realize his vision and his dream for DYDX, and that he's, you know, technology agnostic. He's just going to use the best tech stack to be able to actually deliver the products. And for a lot of the Terra ecosystem developers to be leaving and to coming onto Cosmos, and for IBC to have launched, I think it was like March of 2021, so a year and 3 months ago, and now to see like 60 plus chains that are IBC connected and more coming, you know, every day. I think we're seeing that like interoperability between blockchains is going to be a very important development for the future of crypto. And right now we've been relying on a lot of like centralized bridges. And we've seen a lot of bridge hacks, and the wormhole hack happened recently. Whereas kind of like, if you look at IBC as almost a bridge, it's natural like communications protocol between different sovereign L1 blockchains. I think that IBC is like the most resilient and robust kind of like bridging and communications architecture that we've seen in crypto. So I think that's only kind of testament to Cosmos.
Yeah, I really like a lot of the things that are happening within the Cosmos ecosystem. I think Cosmoverse is happening in here in Medellin in late September. Have you thought about attending, or are you going to be too far away?
Oh man, I'll be there 100%. I'm stoked about it. Yeah. I was actually in Medellin in February just for like a few days, and I got to hang out with Cryptocito and Basile, a couple of the guys that are like building and founding out Cosmoverse. And I'm really stoked. Yeah, I'll definitely be down there, and we got to link up when we're down there, man.
Yeah, but we were just talking to them the other day, and to Cryptocito. There's another expo that we're putting on called Expo Crypto, happening the first or second week of September. So we're trying to collaborate a little bit and share some resources and build out this large month or 2 month blockchain spree here in Medellin. So it's going to be kind of fun. If you can make it here in early September, you should come, man.
Oh, nice. And they're doing, is it DevCon also in Bogota?
In Bogota, yeah. We're trying to find a way to collaborate with them and just have this huge crypto narrative for like 2 months in the fall. I think it'd be really good for the country.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. My wife's like dad's side of the family is Colombian. So I always
perfect. You have an excuse to come.
Yeah. Although I don't know, like I'm in India right now with her for her job, so I don't know if she'll be able to swing it, but I'm definitely coming.
Yeah. Let me know if you can come early too. There's so much going on from like the very start of September through, most of October. Nice. So with the Sei Network, let's look at your timeline again. You got next week or so, heading into launching testnet. You're going to do that for a few months. You want to do mainnet sometime around September, right?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So have incentivized testnet starting in early July. And we're really digging into our incentivized testnet. We built out a pretty robust different acts of the testnet and different activities and ways that people get involved. And we're allocating 1% of the total token supply just for rewards in the testnet, because we want to, we're going to have like a 4 or 5 week initial testnet 1, and then with several acts within that first testnet, then a couple weeks down, and then another 3 or 4 weeks with testnet 2. And then if all of that goes well, then we would launch our mainnet in September. I'm really stoked about that. This is kind of a long time in the making. I'm really impressed with our dev team. So we have 8 full-time developers and a couple more that are working part-time. And then on our ops and like business development and growth side, we're another 10 people. And it's been amazing to work with just like really skilled, really hardworking, and just like fast executing team with a big vision. So it's been really cool. Every day it's like, I can't even like just going mile a minute. I think I've had calls with like 65 different validators in the past 3 weeks, and everyone's excited and is on testnet. Already in our testnet, we've had 800 different validators that have signed up. So it's been really cool to see kind of the broader support from the Cosmos ecosystem. But now it's on us to make sure that as we go into mainnet, that not only the Sei network is really strong, but the Vortex, the protocol that's building the perpetuals contracts protocol, is also like in really good shape and has a really strong front end, and is functioning well with the base layer chain.
That's fantastic. It's awesome to hear that you got having that growth and that development, especially during this period of time where the market's kind of crazy and down. But it's like every person I talk to, every developer, every project, every chain, they're just moving ahead with development faster than they were before. It's really interesting. I think truly a lot of great things get done during times like these, when things get shaken out and markets are down and interest is low. It's the best time to develop anything. So good to hear 100%. That.
Yeah. And you just get a lot less noise. Like you get less people that are like hitting you up just because they want to know like when the price is going to move or when this or that. Some of the tourists and stuff go away, and you can just focus on building like the actual product that you're looking at, like that you're looking to build, and collaborating with teams that are also building like quality tech.
Yeah, it's so annoying. It's a huge distraction, huh? You know, having someone ask, when is something going to moon the next day? When's something going up? When are they going to make money? And like, don't you care about the tech? Like what it's doing? Like it's actually doing good for you. Like, I don't know. People are ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah, dude. I feel like we're not even done kind of like cleaning all that out yet. I mean,
No,
and
probably not for a
NFT
long time.
NYC was just like, chaos. And it's in the middle of like all of the kind of like turmoil that we're dealing with. But I think people are still kind of like have the rosy color sunglasses on right now, man.
Yeah, well, to each their own, I guess. In this space, it's either way, it's still going forward, which is great. How can people stay up to date on what's going on with the Sei Network, and if there are people and projects and developers whatnot that want to join in on the test net and get involved, where should they go?
Yeah, no, the easiest way is just go to seinetwork.io, SEI-network.io. And then there's learn more, and all of our GitHub book docs are there. And it's really pretty thorough as far as walking through getting involved on testnet, or if you'd like to build a protocol on Sei. And then also you feel free to hit me up in DMs on Twitter. It's Deedle, and it's D with 4 E's in a row, DLE.
Why 4 E's?
Just got to rack it out, hang out with you. let it hang a little bit.
Nice. All right, guys, go follow Dan. Go check out the Sei Network. Get involved if you want to get involved. Be sure to like the video and subscribe. Dan, thank you for taking the time to really come on and explain what you guys are doing. It's really exciting to see, stuff like this to really help the DeFi ecosystem. I think there's a lot of work that needs to be done still, but very optimistic about it. Especially around, Cosmos and everything that's going on in that ecosystem. So good talk, good chat. Really appreciate it, man.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Brandon. I really look forward to hanging in Colombia, man.
Yeah. I hope to see you in September. Let me know if you come early.
Cool.
All right. Chat soon. See you, man.